boy started. All right, Anthony, what is up, dude? How's it
What's
going,
up?
man?
Going pretty good. How about yourself?
Good, man. Thank you so much, first of all, for taking the time today. Absolutely stoked, for the times that we've played together, and just digging into the records more and more, and hearing some kind of firsthand experience as far as the writing and what you bring to the table as far as life loss. So first of all, thank you very much for coming on today, man, and hanging out. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
yeah, I'm excited.
So we kind of more or less the topic of the show is kind of to do a little bit of a microscopic look at someone's path and how they got into music, and yourself, as far as a young Anthony, how do you initially come to realize that certain bands or songs really stick out to you, and who was introducing you to the earlier stuff that was really tuning up to the old ear there?
So, it's a super, super long story, but my stepdad was heavy in the music scene in like the 90s. He was in like a kind of like a new metal band, and I grew
Okay.
up with him just going to house shows and stuff constantly, and watching his band play with a bunch of other like new metal bands and stuff around that time. So
Okay.
that's like
Okay.
what got me into it for sure.
Okay. What were like initial bands too? Was it stuff more like bigger, kind of bill bands that that he was introducing you to, or and how did smaller, like more obscure stuff get brought into the mix?
Yeah, for the most part, it was a lot of just like smaller stuff growing up. Like I don't know. Well, he was super into like hardcore too. So I mean, he was playing shit like just like Minor Threat when I was a little kid, or like Walls of
Oh,
Jericho, and like just like like Hatebreed and all that stuff.
that's so sick. God,
Yeah,
what band was he in?
this band's called Rooster Fish. They were like mid '90s new metal. They sounded like it's hard to explain what they sounded like, but they sounded like fuck, I don't know, just like a '90s new metal band.
So sick. I
they were
love it.
super super heavy though, super heavy. So yeah, but yeah,
Okay.
like I always grew up around hardcore and stuff.
How did being involved come to play, just as far as the earlier times of whether it was writing or him being in a band? Did you have different times where you're just kind of fucking around with trying to play drums or picking up somebody's guitar? How did you get into playing?
Yep, I've been playing guitar like my entire life. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, just through him, like he was making me play guitar for like his friends and shit when I was like 4 years old. Um,
Okay.
yeah, the first song I learned on guitar was Typo, like that Typo Negative song, Black Number One. When I think I was like 4 years old.
Sick.
So yeah, yep. And then I don't know, I just kept playing, and I was in like little bands in middle school, and like going to like the old Skeletones and shit, and
Hmm.
we started playing like the DAC all the time, like early high school, and
Okay.
all
Okay.
of those venues back in the day.
Yeah, totally. And as far as like local shops to you, did you have a certain spot that was your go-to, or did you have different like even spots where it wasn't maybe even a music shop that you would end up finding at like a Goodwill or just some like good shit every once in a while, like a low-key shop for music wise?
For well, I mean, I don't know if you ever been to that Firehouse Guitar on 28th Street in
Yeah.
Grand Rapids. Yeah, we used to hang out there all the time when we were in like middle school.
Okay.
So yeah, that was one for sure.
Okay. Okay. For whatever reason, it just always seemed like those fucking people were so irritated with any kids coming in to hang out.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's like
the
I'm
dude,
not trying to break shit. I just want to hang out for a little bit and try some stuff out.
there was a dude. He was older. His name was Terry, and he was a manager of that place. And he was into like metalcore really hard, and I'd always see him at shows, like kind of the bigger shows at like the intersection and stuff. And
Mhm.
I'd always talk to him. He's really
Oh,
nice.
okay. Okay, nice. What about as far as like CDs or tapes? When you first started getting into like grabbing shit, were
Oh
you
yeah.
more was it more of a downloading thing, or did you have friends? Like somehow I always had buddies that had computers and just terabytes of shit, and like, oh, what album do you
Yeah.
want? And it's like, I've been waiting to find this on CD. Like I can't find the Warriors anywhere. How the hell do you have this?
Yeah, the Warriors are so good. That was actually the Warriors was probably like the one of the first hardcore bands. I remember I had like this. I think I got it in the mail of like a I can't remember. I can't remember who was all on it, but it was like a little compilation disc, and I remember the Warriors was like one of the bands on there. I was like, "This shit's
Oh
tight."
yeah. Was it Victory or was it
I think it was a
no?
Victory. I think it might have been a Victory Records
Okay.
one.
I think I know what you're talking about too, because they had that, and
Yeah.
then I'm trying to think of the label that they were on before that, that had like On Broken Wings and
Oh
God
yeah.
damn. It was like how I discovered so many different obscure bands too, and now I
Hmm.
can't even think of what the fucking label is. Holy shit. Yeah, but it's funny too, like for whatever reason, on the topic of the Warriors, they had that War is Hell album, which the more like I guess notable one was like the redo that was the blue cover, and I remember the Fye in Muskegon had the orange cover, and it was just kind of one of
Oh
those moments where
shit.
it was like, why is this even here?
Yeah,
So
there
not
was.
resold or any of that. I was like, holy shit, it's awesome. Eulogy, thank you, Eulogy Records.
Oh
That's like
yeah.
huge, huge for me discovering different awesome shit. Know the score and
Hmm.
sick. Love that
There,
band.
yeah, for sure. There was an Fye right by in Granville in the mall that also
Yeah.
had. They always just had weird shit like that too. You just find it every once in a while.
Now, as far as like, were there particular bands like when you're kind of going? Because I remember you were mentioning like playing guitar and whatnot. Was that initially how you got into like playing into music? Then was playing guitar?
Yep, yep. I've played. Yep, that's like what I did. Life Loss is the only band that I've ever not played guitar in. So,
Oh, okay,
yep.
okay.
And
Well,
I would kind of play guitar every once in a while when we first started, but
okay. What was like the first time stepping out and playing like in front of a crowd of people or playing in front of somebody and playing guitar? Was that something that was exciting? Was it kind of nerve wracking? Like
hmm.
how did that experience treat you?
I've never really been nervous performing it. I just always had so much fun with it. So,
Sweet.
I mean, Greg and Jake and we've been in the same bands together for like the last 15 years. So, I mean, back so long ago, so it's hard to remember. But back then, I mean, we were playing shows all the time at like the mixtape and the deck and all of those
Yeah.
venues back in the day, wherever we could.
Okay, sweet. Is there are there particular spots like especially like Michigan wise and anybody that's around Michigan that was like your spot like anytime that you got to play there you're just excited about the sound and the
Oh,
energy
yeah.
everything was always
I
there
mean,
like did you
the DAC for sure, absolutely. The
okay
DAC was that place, like like 2011 and stuff.
yeah okay have you guys
We
played
had
it since like it reopened
no, we probably like Life Lost probably shouldn't play at the new place. I don't want something to get broken. That place is really nice.
is don't they have like light bulbs all along the stage right now or something
Yeah, those would get destroyed for sure. I mean, it's a super nice venue though. So I mean,
yeah
I would love to play there someday. Just not probably not with Life Lost.
okay okay no I mean and it's it's cool too because like there was lots of different things and even through the years just with having with like Skeletones and then turn into the mixtape and then kind of the mixtape moving around the deck and different spots
Yeah.
that were like West Michigan but even through Detroit and having different spots like the Sanctuary and that's something that's been around for so long and only up in maybe the last like 5 or 6 years or
Yeah.
so that I had discovered and like started playing there, and that's awesome, too. So it's cool. I mean, as far as all the places that are even in Michigan, the Fillmore and different bigger venues,
Hmm.
that we have and have had around too. But some of the smaller shit where it's just like, man, I'd rather play there or even playing like Greg's house and playing in the basement. I'm like, this is where it's at, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, the Sanctuary is super cool. At that venue, it used to be the same location. It used to be Paychex, that Paychex Lounge.
Yeah.
I remember going there a long time ago. I remember when the Sanctuary was like moving around too. I
Hmm.
think it was in someone's basement for a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Damn. A
I
little bit of a
remember.
transition from an actual venue, but still
Yeah.
sick. I appreciate that. What about so when the idea is coming around, for Life Loss and for coming up to doing vocals for something, was it something that you were just kind of messing around with and it sounded fun, or was it something that for some time you'd kind of thought that you wanted to do something, or how did that come up doing vocals?
No, we were just like fucking around with music one day at my house in my room. We were kids. I mean, this was 2012, I think, so 10 years ago. And
Damn.
we were just fucking around, and I think I just grabbed the mic and we just made a song, and we just randomly played a song, and we were like, this is going to be our first song, cuz we started out as like a very we've always kind of been like a joke band, like we never took it serious. We were just always fucking around. But we started off as like a grindcore, like power violence band, and then just
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like took it more metalcore as we progressed, and took it a little bit more seriously.
Okay.
But
What what was the influence as far as like your style, with singing too? Because you kind of have like different little things where every once in a while it's more of like a yell. You have every you get like really kind of growly with it and have like
hmm
fun with it, but it's not necessarily strapped down to one thing. But did you have influences as far as for you to be like, ah, fuck, I'm just gonna have fun with this and kind of take it all over the place?
yeah, no, I've never really had. I mean, I listened to so much different genres of like heavy music. I guess I was just always fucking around with it, just trying to do whatever I thought sounded cool at that point.
Oh,
So.
okay, okay, okay. And with that too, like, was there anything, at what point was it where, did you do anything like even looking online at like YouTube for different things? Like you'd get done with the show and you're like, fuck, I am ruining myself. Or was it always kind of something where, you were kind of like good in balance as far as like not messing up your throat, or, did anything come into that as far as with taking on vocals?
Nope, I've never had any problems with it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know. Yeah. Yep. Yep. I guess it's just because I've been doing it since I was like a kid. I've never had a problem with it. So,
Damn. Okay. Okay. What when going to shows and discovering like you mentioned at a young age and different things, where did it come into play as far as like a big bill concert and like the first time where you're seeing like a big stage and production, and like how is that kind of a transition on how you're viewing from being so young and seeing local shows and different things like that?
are you talking about just like seeing or playing?
Seeing like attending.
So, first big show I ever went to, like huge concert, I think it was like a Fall Out Boy in 2005, I think.
Oh, okay.
So, and I think I was like 11 or 12, I can't really remember, but it was pretty crazy. It was my first big concert I guess I ever went to like by myself, and it was super fun. I'll never like forget it. So it was really cool.
Okay. Okay. And did you have like things like that from, from I guess that transition of local, experience to like a bigger show where taking on being a front man, it kind of like influenced anything with just your energy, or, when you get up and you play, like the whole band, it kind of has their own thing. Jake's off doing his thing. Greg fucking within 5 minutes has his shirt off. And you're absolutely like maintaining energy throughout it, and that's always something that's been memorable too, where it's like
Yeah.
kind of in your face and and with it, but still like all about the fun too with it.
Yeah, we've like I've only really ever played with those guys, so
Oh, okay.
when we play together, we just like we all kind of we get the vibe, So it's yeah, Greg, as soon as he takes his shirt off, then yeah.
It's kind of like the moment that like, okay, the
Yeah.
momentum's there and we're ready.
Yeah.
Okay. So with Life Love, something in particular like always drew me to I guess kind of drawing it away from it being like another heavier band, or kind of a blasty at points, different thing, is tracks like the last night that I'll ever see, or
hmm
am I saying
Yep.
that? I'll ever see again, like
Yep.
tracks like that, where all of a sudden it's a moment like in the EP or in the album, or even City Nights, which I'll kind of get to here in a moment,
hmm
but like just kind of tones it down, and you have keyboards playing, and you start kind of singing as opposed to the different things. Like where did that come into play as far as like bringing it outside of the box, and it not just being straight aggression the whole time.
Yeah, honestly, a lot of that comes from like Typo for sure.
Oh yeah,
Been like
okay.
one of my favorite bands of my whole life. So, um, and like sometimes just straight up having music the whole time gets a little bit boring. So we're just trying to mix it up with what we could, just having fun,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah, totally. Okay, sweet. And like I say, I mean, like with I guess touching on like the last night, if you have anything, as far as lyrical wise, or kind of the place that you were at when you were writing that, what comes to mind as far as when that song was coming about, and what flavor you were wanting to add to it.
A lot of um, a lot of the songs we have are just like about our childhood and like the way we grew up. We all, everyone in the band kind of has like similar childhood experiences, so we kind of just wrote it about that stuff. A lot of it is,
Oh, okay, okay.
yeah.
And it was so crazy too. When I was talking to Greg, and I've already mentioned this probably a couple of times, but the fact that I had no idea, or I didn't even realize that Jake was in Life Lost, and all the times that I've played with you guys and seen you guys and interacted, and I'm just like, I had no idea. Now he's doing Split Up, and I'm just like, how the fuck did I not realize this?
Yeah,
So,
Split
but
Up's
but
so
with
good.
dude, it's so
They're
awesome. I know
so
every
good.
time
Yeah.
they're you guys and them. There's definitely a couple acts around here that, aside from playing shows, I try my best to get out, just to go and attend, because it's so rad, and there's really great shit that's going on.
Hmm.
And with that, do you have anything to add as far as to City Nights? With the LP, and kind of a bigger, broader picture, as far as what to do with life loss. That, and is it 6 or 4? I always fuck this up,
It's
and now I feel
six.
bad.
Yeah, no,
6.
it's
Okay.
six. Yep. It's
Okay.
actually I couldn't. It's the sixth song like in the list on the CD, so I was like, "Fuck it, we'll just call it that." It's hard.
Okay.
Sometimes it's hard coming up with
Wow.
names for stuff. So
Okay. Is there? I mean, is that like kind of a tip off point where you're like, there's been certain times where it's like, man, I wish I would have gone back and maybe changed this up a little bit, or I'm glad that this ended up 6 because this turned out kind of cool. As far as the visual aesthetic, has there been anything with like naming tracks that you're like, ah, damn it, what did I do?
no, I love it all. I guess I mean, some of the EP. It was like our first time recording for this band, something ever.
Okay.
And when we did the EP, there's a lot of spots where I'm like, fuck, I wish we wouldn't have done. I wish we would have did the intro a little bit different. But
Okay.
I mean, it came out all good. I
That's
mean, it's
cool. Yeah.
fun. Yeah, it's cool.
Hmm.
Yep, I love the album. So the album we wrote, we didn't practice it as much as what I wish we could have before we recorded it. So there's a lot of parts that I'm just like, it doesn't flow kind of like how I wish it did, but it could have came out a lot worse for sure. So I
Oh
like
man.
it.
And I can appreciate that. I mean, you kind of become your biggest critical like critique as far as when you're putting something out. But the record, dude, the album, like I absolutely love, and that was really like kind of a point where I dug the EP and the earlier stuff that you guys were doing, and I feel like maybe even when you guys started playing this stuff live, that was where I was like, whoa, what's going on here? You guys
Hmm.
release it. I'm like, shit, this got it going on, man. For sure, and just the tuned in sound and everything. Do you have anything new that you guys are writing right now, or is there any plans past this?
Yeah. I mean, the pandemic fucked like everyone over, real bad. So we recorded that, and as soon as we got done recording it, that shit all happened, and we had it for like a year and a half, I think, or a year before we even released it, because we were just
Uh,
waiting to do like a release show, like a huge one, and we just never got around to it, and then we released that, and it had a shit ton of like positive reviews for sure, and
mhm,
we just we didn't really play any shows. Then Split Up started playing like 2 3 years later, and
mhm,
we haven't really had time to do much else because they've all been busy and stuff. So, but we actually wrote, I think, like six new songs, but I think
Oh shit.
we're gonna just start a new band. I think with them. I think I'm gonna
Oh
go back.
really?
I think I'm gonna go back to guitar, and we're gonna look for a new vocalist
Oh shit.
or
Wow.
something
Okay.
like that. That's just what we've been kind of fucking around with. But
Oh okay. And I mean
hmm
nothing like for sure, or like, but just as far as like right now, that's kind of a point with it. Okay. And you guys are
yeah,
still you guys still have a couple of shows though, or no?
we have. I'm about to release a flyer for our last show coming up. So
Oh
in
shit.
October, yeah.
Damn.
But it's
Oh man.
okay.
Okay.
Yep. It's I think it's been a band for like way too long. So I think it's ready. I think it's time.
I mean, I have to say, like the moments that like the ignorant, kind of even funny points of any of the releases, the moments that you just yell out the "what the fuck." Anytime if that comes up, whether it's live or whether it's listening to the record, I'm like, all right, I was a little tired. I can start picking it up again here. If you're working out or some shit like that, it was just kind of funny. I don't know if it always almost reminded me of like a life ruiner type thing, or
Oh
like
yeah.
just kind of a call out. But as far as with this new stuff, is there anything um, different that you're wanting to bring with it? I mean, obviously, you don't want it to be the same exact thing. But is there anything, like as far as like your playing or different things to where you guys are deciding that you would, you're wanting to kind of make this a whole different project?
Yep. So all of the new songs that we have written are more like that City Night song.
Oh
So
shit! Dang.
it's all industrial, and honestly, it's not really the songs are heavy, but they're not really like mosh songs anymore. So that's kind of why we're just gonna try to just change the whole thing. So
Oh dang.
yeah,
Okay.
but it's super. It's kind of like I don't know. Have you heard that new Code Orange song?
Which one?
The last one they released. It's kind of similar to that. It kind of sounds like Rob Zombie, but I don't know. It's like industrial metal.
Okay.
It's really cool though. I'm excited to
Okay.
mess
Shit.
around with it.
No, I mean, like the stuff that you've done, like I guess that's maybe even like industrial, as far as like the City Nights or I'm trying to think the other track on your guys' full length that I can sing it out and everything. I'm trying to think of what the fucking song is called. It's just kind of like an interlude in the middle of it. Fuck. Dun,
Are
dun,
you?
dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun, dun,
that's
dun.
the one.
What the?
The one that goes into Home too.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay. Right, right, right. Okay,
That was
yeah. So,
actually one of the first songs me, Greg, and Jake ever wrote together back way before Life Lost. Like that's a riff that whole song basically we wrote when we were like 13.
oh my
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
that's
That song is
awesome.
yeah, we wrote that a long fucking time ago. Maybe
How
almost
did that
15 years ago.
how did that get revisited to end up on the one of the latest releases?
Yeah, we did it a couple times throughout the album. So we were in like a death metal band when we were kids, and we were like, dude, these riffs are fucking sweet. So we just like brought a couple of them back. there's there's that
okay.
there's that breakdown in the song called "You and I," and
Uh-huh.
there's a slow breakdown right in the middle of it, and that's one of the first riffs we ever wrote to. It's really cool.
Oh, shit, that is awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
what equipment or what keyboards or different things do you use as far do you write a lot of the industrial aspect or is it the whole band or how does that come about?
So a lot of it just comes like up in my head, and when I practice, I'm just like I kind of explain to them how it sounds in my head, and then we all just like figure out the riffs and write them together. That's normally how it goes. And then Jake does the same thing. Like he'll have some riffs in his head, and he'll play them, and we'll just kind of all form them together. Greg,
Okay.
Greg is super good at like figuring out how to transition shit. So we normally just write a bunch of riffs together, and then we'll just kind of find them in order, and Greg just transitions them for us.
Yeah, dude, I love his playing. Like, there's been a lot of times I've played along with the records. I've played the split up, and there's certain times though. Like, I mean, you mentioned different like fills or like a transition of something. I'm like, what the fuck is he doing? Like,
Yeah,
what is
dude,
going?
he's
I mean,
fucking
sounds
that dude is
awesome. But
insane. Yeah, we played a couple of shows together, and I feel real bad for him because he has to he plays like a split up set, and then he has to do a whole fucking life loss set.
I can imagine. Yeah, I mean, there's been different, things where you have that every once in a while, but especially, like for the stuff that he's playing, with split up's a little bit more laid back, so that part. But then, if you're doing life loss first hand, the split up set's probably going to be a little bit tougher. Get a
Yeah.
little tired. What about you mentioned, the three of you, kind of having this bond, for all these years. What are your first memories of meeting these guys? How do you come about, as far as your first memory of, how they came, and what drew you to being like, man, we should hang out and write some music and shit.
Dude, I don't know. It's so hard to explain. We were just so young, and I don't know. Greg and I, we just had one day we just met and hung out, and fucking we became best friends. Jake, we met through kind of like a mutual friend. So Greg went to Grant, and Jake went to Granville, and I like kind of went to both schools like off and on. I moved around a lot when I was a kid, so
Oh, okay.
that's kind of how I like met everyone, and we all just hung out together. And we've had a lot of other people. We've played music with like a lot of other people throughout the years too, but it's just like me, Greg, and Jake have always just like stuck together. So I don't know how or why, but it just kind of happened.
I mean, it's cool to be able to have that too, and even like having different experiences and writing material for different bands, and over the years doing different things like that too. Like you have certain times where you see like a band that's together for like a year or two that doesn't end up working out, or that some big like drama between. So having that special, I mean, that's cool, and I
Hmm.
mean, it's rad to be able to have too. With your earliest memory as far as a recording versus going to, like, say, um, was it the Eikenberries that recorded the full length, right?
And the
So,
EP, yep.
and the EP. Okay, okay,
Hmm.
got it. What was the transition from that, as far as like the earlier times of kind of doing different things to, going into a studio? Did you have, different ways as far as your approach, vocally, or it was always like a pretty comfortable thing then, because you're saying you've always been, comfortable with playing live, or do you enjoy the recording process?
Yeah, I love recording. It's one of my favorite things to do. If I had the money, I would release way more shit for sure.
I
Um,
hear
the
that.
first as a when we first started, we never even thought about recording. We just always fucking played. We recorded three songs in Greg's basement, in his mom's basement, when in 2012 or 13, I think, for Life Loss, and they were just real shitty. They're supposed to sound like power violence songs for sure, and they do. They're real shitty sounding, but
Fits.
it's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, they came out actually pretty good for what we used. I
Mhm.
think we used like a Guitar Hero microphone for them, and we recorded them in like a closet. But
Damn, it's
yeah,
awesome.
it came out pretty cool. And then we never thought about like because we just always fucked around with it. It was never serious. So, 6 or 7 years later, we're like, maybe we should record like something for real.
Okay.
And yeah, I've always been friends with those guys. Like I've known, Brandon Eikenberry from Southpaw for a long time, and
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
yeah, and
That that was where I initially met him. I was playing in Fairwind at the time, and they were doing Southpaw and initially kind of, getting up doing different shows. And do they still play? Is that a band still?
well, I think yeah, I think they're still a band, but I don't think they're doing what they were because they were huge for a second.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of
But
moving. Yep, for sure.
I know Brandon has a family and stuff. I think it's hard on him. So
Oh, okay, okay. And I
hmm
mean, those things happen, I mean, and I see
yeah.
too, like you do some traveling too. I don't know, like for work or whatnot. Have you come across, some spots where you're like, man, if I do a tour, I might have to hit up this spot. This looks pretty cool, or I might have to come back and check out this music shop. As far as you're traveling, anything come to mind as far as shit that you're gonna have to go back and hit sometime?
There's a lot of places that I would absolutely love to play. Just like, yeah, I mean, anywhere in Seattle. I've been to Seattle a bunch of times, and I would
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
love to play there someday.
Okay.
Um, yeah, yep, I'd love to play in Chicago too, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Now, have you done like with Life Loss or with any of the other band? Have you done like any like small runs or any like small tours or anything like that, or was this just more or less like kind of one-offs doing different shows?
We played a lot of out of town shows with Life Loss for sure, but I don't think we've ever done like a mini tour or anything.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it was I mean, it's one of those things where like sometimes it comes up and other times, like it just doesn't end up working out with like work schedules or people have kids or something like that. But I felt like it was one of those things where, like a band like Incendiary, like that was like a band where all of a sudden like it wasn't shitty for a band to be cool and not tour. Like they just for whatever reason, like they're all like business casual motherfuckers by day, and then all of a sudden like they're just like, yeah, I'll play in upstate New York, and we're not gonna tour this summer. Like,
I've
that's
seen
cool, shit.
I've seen them one time well, I've seen them a couple times, but I think this was the first time I saw them was 2013 at the Refuge Skate Shop. Did you ever
Oh
go to that
yeah,
place?
okay, yeah, yep.
Yeah, that shit was insane. That shit was nuts. That was
Damn,
sweet. It
yeah.
might have been for that album release. I can't remember if it was or not, but
Holy shit! Holy damn! I saw him once in Chicago, but never anywhere around here. I've never even seen them on like flyers or anything. So what was that show
yeah.
with?
I think it was just them and a couple locals. I can't remember who the locals
Shit,
were. I think
damn.
maybe Hollow Earth might have played it. Maybe Freedom. I know Freedom was playing like all of those shows back then.
Oh, okay, right. And they're doing, or the singer's like an never ending game, isn't he?
I
I think he plays
honestly
bass
don't
or some shit.
know.
I could be
That
wrong.
wouldn't.
I don't
I
know.
think so. I that wouldn't surprise me.
No, I mean, dude. So I appreciate all of this, and I appreciate, like I had to say, as far as like being able to do this like compilation and include you guys in this, I thank you very much for the help with that, and I'm trying to steady get it promoted. And initially, I was actually going to have you guys on the show, and then shit got kind of fucked with the schedule and everything, which bums
Hmm.
me out. And now hearing that you guys are appearing for your last show, I'm like, motherfucker. But that's it's one of those things. I'm looking forward to what you guys have coming next. Do you have anything as far as like all the recordings done and like kind of like a timeline? I know you wait. Did you say in October or was that the show?
The show's in October.
The show's
Yep.
in October. Okay, okay, okay. So I don't want to fuck that up. Say it was something else. But now, yeah, just as far as like if you had an opportunity, you were putting out something and you're going to have a Life Lost track and say, even with like four other songs, what other bands would you want to have on there as far as for a compilation, or maybe like a five-way split with other bands? Who would you have on a compilate or on a split with you guys?
Well, there's a lot of bands, but I mean, all my friends' bands would be tight. Like
Oh,
that
okay, yeah.
when we did that like E Fearley show 2 years ago, that shit was really fun. I'd love to do something like that again.
Sweet. That'd be cool. And I was kind of thinking about something where, and I don't know how it would necessarily work out, but the whole idea of like the compilation was the cover art was like a mock on that Judgment Night soundtrack. I don't know if you remember that movie or that soundtrack where it was like a Ice-T and Slayer track, or it was,
Hmm.
like all these different bands that were kind of like coming together. And it would be so sick to like make something like that where it's like different even Michigan bands or like Midwest where somehow like different genres and shit like mixing and blending and coming together to make a couple of tracks. I don't know how exactly that would work, or even if it would be like a show, to perform or something. But that's always been something that's been kind of on my mind as far as that'd be kind of fun and something to mix. But a cool thing I think with Michigan and mid or West Michigan even is that there's a lot of different like flavors to it, and there's a lot of different cool bands out there for sure, and different people
Hmm.
kind of touching into shit. So
Yeah,
yeah,
dude.
no,
I
go ahead.
love
Sorry.
no, it's cool. I love our music scene for sure. It has a lot of different. Yeah, there's a lot of different shit out here, and it's super cool. It just sucks that we don't really have very many places to spot or places spots to play, but there's no like no DIY spots really, and it kind of
Yeah,
sucks. But I
yeah.
do wish we had the
There's a spot in Muskegon.
oh the credit union.
Yeah, have you been there?
I actually haven't, but I know they've been doing shows for a long time, like before the pandemic.
Oh shit, really? I
Hmm.
just recently heard Brett was talking about it. I think Snakeout had played there, and there was a couple other bands that had played there. Did Split Up play there?
I think Split Up did play there.
Okay, that might have been what it was that I saw, and I was like, oh, that's kind of sick. It doesn't really. I think it's like an old, like dusty ass credit union.
Credit union. Yeah,
So I mean, that's
that's
cool
what I
shit.
heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, if yeah, hopefully different things like that kind of pop up or different opportunities, as far as somebody seeing like a building and can pull together something. But and I've as far as uh yeah, I don't know. That's it's kind of a big take on. There's been different times where like friends and I have looked into different things, and then like you get into like the financial aspect of it, and you're like, oh,
Hmm.
fuck, I don't know. I don't know if
Yeah.
we're gonna figure out. We gotta like pull together and get like a bull, like a pole barn or some shit like that, just somewhere
Right.
out in the woods. have a
Did
have a little
you
spot there.
did you ever go to that workshop venue? Didn't you play there with you played there, right?
The workshop. Where
Yeah.
where where
That
was
was
that
that
at?
place we had that like big EP release show. I'm pretty sure you guys played that.
Oh, out in front by Wealthy.
No, it was out. It's kind of on the north side.
Workshop venue.
I know Bitter Truth and like Pain Divine played.
Damn, what I'm trying to think of what that place was because one of the last times I remember playing with you guys, it was like the side room or whatever, the Wealthy Street Theater, and it was like all like the ballet room or some shit. There was all the mirrors, and we're like, this is gonna get destroyed.
Did I don't know if we played that. Maybe we did. I think we might have played there once,
Okay,
but
one of the times I feel like we did play with you guys at that venue,
yeah.
um,
But
but
no, the workshop it had that basement and then it had the upstairs too.
damn, that does
I
not
know you.
sound
I'm
familiar.
almost positive you played there. Shit, I wish I
Huh?
could. I wish
Okay.
I had the flyer somewhere.
Yeah, I'll
But
I'll have to look and see. I know that there's different times too where like Tim would fill in, like if it was something that I couldn't make
oh,
to where he would because you're talking Grand Rapids, right?
yeah.
Okay. Because there was a spot at that Russell Industrial Center. Did you guys ever play that, or did you ever go and have you like been to a show or anything like that? It's this
I don't think
huge,
so.
huge industrial center, and you just like pull up to it, and it looks like the fucking the scenery for RoboCop. It's just like this stories up building, and you go, and it was like a rented out, almost like apartment, and the venue was in there, and they had like a smoke shop in there or some shit that they were selling. But then they had like stairs that went up, and that there was like an upstairs up there. The workshop. I'm trying to think of where the fuck that would even be. It doesn't sound familiar. That might have been something that they played without me, unfortunately.
Huh. Damn. Okay.
Those
Yeah,
bastards.
you would remember that show if you were there for sure.
Okay.
That was crazy.
It was
But
generally fun. I mean, it was a a good time, or even like the first time that Brett had Sweatfest, and it was
oh
at
yeah, that was fun
that
too.
like cowboy bar or whatever the
Oh
fuck was going on.
yeah.
Like that's pretty sick.
Yeah, dude.
Turned out
We
sweet.
the our set during Sweatfest was super fun.
It was awesome. Yeah,
We
for sure.
actually just made we just released like our last shirt we're gonna print and it has a picture of that Sweatfest show on it. It's
Oh
super
damn.
cool. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. That's sweet. And I hope that he's doing that again, and I hope that different things like that, kind of pop back up. I do have something planned, like as far as like for next year, possibly with the whole idea of the compilation. Probably not 28 bands. I'm probably gonna downsize that and have something a little bit different. But I'd love to check out the new stuff that you guys have and possibly have something where we can get like a show booked and do
Yeah, that'd be
something. And
fun.
yeah, so. This has been awesome, man. I really appreciate the time here. I'm super stoked to hear the new material that you guys are working on and what you have coming out. And yeah, I will for sure be in contact and hopefully see you soon, my man. Thank you very much for
Yeah,
hanging
yeah,
out
dude,
today.
for sure. Yep, yeah. Thank you for the interview and stuff.
Totally, totally. Yeah, not a problem. You take care. I'll have this edited. I'm working on catching up on this shit, and I'll have it on YouTube though, and I'll promote it on here and everything like that. So, once
Okay,
again,
cool.
thank you for helping with the compilation there, man. Truly appreciate
Yeah,
it.
we're so glad we could be on it too. And the song you put on is tight.
I absolutely love it, man. All the stuff, and hopefully, if I do something again this next year, we'll have something getting together and put something else on, man. So,
Yeah.
thank you once again, and take care. Have a good day, my man.
Yeah, you too for sure. See ya.
See ya.
He's a lo-fi horror guy. Yeah, he's kind of a guy, but he is so lo-fi, lo-fi, a horror guy. Yeah. Lo-fi horror guy has been recorded in front of a live studio audience.